Hello everyone. So I thought it would be fun today to do a book haul. As you may know, if you've watched my channel before, I was doing a book buying ban because I just have a massive, huge, tremendous physical TBR, and it was giving me a lot of anxiety. I wasn't feeling good about it, and so I decided to stop buying books. And I think it was a good decision for that time. It was basically all of 2024, and it made me appreciate more what I have, but it didn't make me read more, which I expected, but it didn't happen. And so I decided to end it, and I'm buying books again. And I just don't feel that way anymore. I just like having my own library. I like having that experience of browsing through my books and know that I have a nice collection. And if I need to reference something or if I'm interested in a new topic, I like that I have options. So I think it works for me, and I've seen other people's opinions of people that have these big libraries of their own, and I just embraced it. It's my personality, something that brings me joy, and as long as I can afford it, I'm just gonna buy books as I want. I think it was good to stop for a while just to because I was on a very frightening pace, and now I just want to make it a little more mindful than I was doing it. But enough of that. I just want to show you guys what I got since then. So basically this is all the books I got since the beginning of the last year, because in 2024 I really didn't get that many. So the only book that I bought during the buying ban was this one. It's 6 Lives. This is a book from a museum, from the National Portrait Gallery in London. Am I too dark? I might be too dark. I think I need to switch positions. Hello again. I think this might be better. Hello again. So, as I was saying, 6 Lives. This is a book of an exhibition that was in National Portrait Gallery in London. Since I couldn't go, and I had a massive Tudor phase a couple of years ago, I'm still obsessed with them, and I want to learn more. And so since I couldn't go there physically, I saw that they were selling a book, and it's just it's basically a massive, almost coffee table book, but it has a lot of information, lots of pictures from the objects and the paintings that were there. So I've started reading it, but I haven't like completely read everything. But it's just a beautiful book with lots of pictures, and I know I'm gonna browse through it and probably read all of it when I have the time. So this was the only thing that I actually bought when I was in my mind in a complete buying ban. I got one book from when I went to Japan, and that was The Tale of Genji? I don't know. This is a massive work of classical Japanese literature. It's considered to be the world's earliest novel. Of course, that depends on the definition of what a novel is, but it might be. And it is hugely influential in Japanese culture. In all the museums that I visited there were paintings and a lot of art that was inspired by this book, and so I thought it would be nice to buy it there. I've read it recently, so I'm very happy that I finished the book that I bought since the buying ban, and it was a very interesting experience. I won't say it's one of my favorite books or anything, but it's mostly a learning experience. I feel like I got a lot out of it, but more on a learning perspective than on an enjoyment perspective. Although this is pretty much like gossiping about this prince and his many romantic and I would call it harassment exploits. So it's not, I didn't find it boring at all. This is also just the first 17 chapters. I didn't know that when I bought it. I've since discovered that. So I'd like to eventually read the whole thing in a better translation. So if you guys have a suggestion for the best edition to read this book, I would love to hear it. Afterwards is when I completely ended the ban, and it was when I went to London and Paris. I have a whole vlog about it if you want to watch that. Of course, those are two cities that have my favorite bookshops that I've ever visited. So, and there's a huge second-hand market, so I couldn't resist it. I wouldn't feel great if I just didn't buy any books there. So what I got was The Wager, A Tale of Shipwreck, Mutiny and Murder. This is a non-fiction book, and let's see what it says. 1742. A ramshackle vessel of patched together wood and cloth washes up on the coast of Brazil. Inside are 30 emaciated men, barely alive. Survivors from the Wager, a British vessel wrecked while on a secret mission to raid the Spanish treasure-filled galleon. They have an extraordinary tale to tell. 6 months later, an even more decrepit boat comes ashore on the coast of Chile, containing just 3 castaways with their own, very different accounts of what happened. The 30 sailors who landed in Brazil, they maintain, were not heroes, they were mutineers. As accusations of treachery and murder fly, who is telling the truth? The stakes are life and death, for whoever is guilty could hang. Aren't you interested? This sounds so compelling. It sounds like one of those non-fiction books that almost read like fiction. It has pictures, which is always nice. Love when non-fiction has pictures on it. So I haven't read it yet, but I would like to do so. I don't know if it's gonna happen this year, but it sounds so great. I love ships, and especially during this period, because if you got lost or something happened, who could save you? Probably no one. And that's why I find it very fascinating, because they were risking their lives every time they boarded on a ship like this. So I'm very interested to hear what happened, because I didn't know anything. I don't know anything about this story, so I'm very curious to learn. Also in London, I found on an Oxfam Orlando by Virginia Woolf. It was £3.50, which is a great deal. Let's see what it says on the blurb. As his tale begins, Orlando is a passionate young nobleman whose days are spent in rowdy revelry, filled with the colorful delights of Queen Elizabeth's court. By the close, he will have transformed into a modern, 46-year-old woman, and 3 centuries will have passed. Orlando will witness the making of history from its edge, dressing in flamboyant fashions of each era, following passing customs, and socializing with celebrated artists and writers. Virginia Woolf's most unusual and fantastic creation, Orlando, is a funny, exuberant tale that examines the very nature of sexuality. And I want to read everything by Virginia Woolf. I've only read The Waves and it was a long time ago, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't understand most of it. It was really hard to get into the writing, but it's been like 6 years and I feel like I have evolved much since then, so I'm curious to see what I will find about Virginia Woolf's writing now. And this exploration of sexuality and gender seems so interesting to me and as relevant as ever. Oh, it also has pictures. I didn't know it started in the court of Queen Victoria? Queen Elizabeth, sorry. I didn't know it started in the court of Queen Elizabeth, so I read Hamlet recently. I will talk about it in another video. And then I watched Shakespeare in Love and Romeo plus Juliet. So I've been in a lot of that time period. I just want to consume things from that time period. So maybe I'll read this sooner rather than later. We'll see. Also from London, I got 2 plays. Roots and Look Back in Anger. I watched both of these plays on the Almeida Theatre. If you want to know what I thought about them, you can watch my vlog. I'll just read the summary of each one so you can see if it interests you or not. I counted these as read because I watched the play. I just wanted, it's like a souvenir, something to remind myself that I saw the play. Didi Bryant has returned to her home in Norfolk from London, where she has fallen in love with young socialist Ronnie Khan. As the Bryants await Ronnie's arrival, BT, faced with the banality of their rural lives, encourages her family to adopt a more inquisitive attitude towards the world beyond their Norfolk farm, passionately reciting the sentiments of her beloved Ronnie. I think that's a good summary of what happens. Biddy is a very interesting character and I really liked her, so I had a good time watching the play because I was really rooting for her. Unlike Look Back in Anger, where I look back in anger at this play because that main character really... But it was on purpose. It was clearly on purpose and the actor was great because I hated it. Oh, it doesn't have a summary. Why do they do that? Why would you have a summary of what happens? It doesn't make any sense. Why did they... I've seen a lot of editions that now don't have that. They just don't have a summary. And they just have like the... Is it the blurbs? Like the quotations from other people? Called a blurb, maybe. Anyway, it's a play from the 1950s as well, and it discusses a lot about gender roles and what is expected of people, but it has a very, very unpleasant protagonist. So if you don't like that, don't go near it. Last book that I got in London was The Moomins and the Great Flood, and I have read it already. It's a very small children's book. It's full of the illustrations. Tove Jansson I feel like she's very well known right now. At least I've seen a lot of people talk about her, and so I've been curious about the Moomins because of that. People say the first book is not very good, the other ones are a lot better. I've only read this one and I already found it super charming, so I think I will buy the rest of the series and just enjoy it. I really like the drawings, the illustrations are really beautiful, so I think I might get the other ones. This is a special edition, so I think the other ones won't match, but that's a problem for another day. In Paris, I calmed down a little and got only 2 books. I got The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. Here is the summary. As the civil rights movement begins to reach the black enclave of Frenchtown in segregated Tallahassee, Elwood Curtis takes the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to heart. He is as good as anyone. Abandoned by his parents, but kept on the straight and narrow by his grandmother, Elwood is a high school senior about to start classes at a local college. But for a black boy in the Jim Crow South of the early 1960s, one innocent mistake is enough to destroy the future. Elwood is sentenced to a juvenile reformatory called the Nickel Academy, whose mission statement says it provides physical, intellectual, and moral training, so that the delinquent boys in their charge can become honorable and honest men. In reality, the Nickel Academy is a grotesque chamber of horrors where the sadistic staff beats and sexually abuses the students. Corrupt officials and locals steal food and supplies, and any boy who resists is likely to disappear out back. Stunned to find himself in such a vicious environment, Elwood tries to hold on to Dr. King's ringing assertion, "Throw us in jail and we will still love you." His friend Turner thinks Elwood is worse than naive, that the world is crooked and that the only way to survive is to scheme and avoid trouble. The tension between Elwood's ideals and Turner's skepticism leads to a decision with repercussions that will echo down the decades. Formed in the crucible of the evils Jim Crow wrought, the boys' fates will be determined by what they endured at the Nickel Academy. Based on the real story of a reform school in Florida that operated for 111 years and warped the lives of thousands of children, The Nickel Boys is a devastating, driven narrative that showcases a great American novelist's writing at the height of his powers. I've read this, and it's everything that says here, really. It's heartbreaking, it's hard to read in the sense that terrible, terrible things are happening to these boys that have done absolutely nothing, and even if they did, no one deserves to be treated like this. I highly recommend it. I also recommend the film adaptation that came out last year. It's incredible. It was my favorite movie of last year. It's, besides being a good adaptation of the book, it also did something with the language of film that I hadn't seen anyone else do it at least as well as it's done in that movie. It's really an experience. Wait to be in the right mindset to watch it. I think that's very important. But yeah, 5 stars from me. Also from Paris, I got Angels in America. This is a play by Tony Kushner. I've heard about this play before, and I'm very interested in reading it and also probably see a recording of it. Does it have a summary here? Probably not, no. It also doesn't have a summary. But from what I know, it talks about AIDS and the LGBT community living. I think it's set in New York as well. Okay, I think this blurb summarizes it. Angels in America is the finest drama of our time, speaking to us of an entire era of life and death, as no other play within memory. In its sweeping imagination, it defines the collapse of a moral universe during the Reagan years in an unforgettable way, transcending its specific time in the richness of its portrait of an America lost, perhaps to be regained. Mr. Kushner's epic sense of loss and betrayal and long for saving grace amounts to a fantastic journey of the heart and mind crying out against the disintegration of tolerance in cities and certain eternal dreams. It's a pretty funny play too. How we still need it. It ranks as nothing less than one of the greatest plays of the 20th century. So after hearing this, I'm very interested. I'll try to read it quite soon because I'm working on a special project that I won't talk about, but I want to read a lot of plays for it and also other things. But yeah, very interested to read that, and I was very happy to find it at a second-hand store because I hadn't seen it on sale before. I don't know how easy it is to find it actually. And last thing that I got at the end of last year was Half Arse Human by Leena Norms. Leena Norms is a YouTuber. I've watched her channel for quite a few years now, and I really like her content. I really like how she she tries to learn and she tries to make better decisions, and I think this book is all about that, about trying to do better. You can always do things perfectly, but you can try, and if everyone tries, the world can be a much better place. Let's see what it says here. In a world of growing to-do lists, impossible inboxes, and all the information in the known universe at your fingertips, it's easy to forget that you're not meant to be a superhuman, just a human. Enter the half-arse method to get you to where you need to be, so you can all-arse what really matters. So I think the idea of the book, I haven't read it yet, but I want to. So you can see like here in the table of contents, it has a lot of topics, and so I think it shows how she is trying to do things a little bit better, one thing at a time and as much as possible. And so that's what I want to learn from this, because I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself to always make the best decision, to buy the most ethical thing possible, and sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's just things get in your way and it's very hard to do things perfectly. So I think what is important really is that we try. So I want to keep trying. I also got another book from a person that I followed, and they published a book. It's called El Cine Reparador by Victor Salmerón, or the page Cinema Excelsior. If you follow him on Instagram, he does this beautiful reels of movies, and there's great recommendations and reviews. So I've been following him for years, and when I saw that he was publishing a book, I just wanted to support him and probably get some quite nice recommendations. I don't know, maybe, but I feel like it's like those that poetry pharmacy collection, you know. You have an index and you see what is ailing you, and then a poem is suggested to help you with that matter. And I feel like this is a similar idea, but for cinema. So I will explore this when I have time. After that, I got Human Acts by Kang. I have already read this finally. I've ever since I first heard of Kang, this was the book that seemed the most interesting to me and that would work better for me. But since The Vegetarian and other works by her were more famous, I started with The Vegetarian. I started with Vegetarian, and I was loving it at first, and then just completely lost me by the middle. And I ended up thinking maybe we just don't vibe well. Writing style just doesn't work for me. Then I tried Greek lessons, and it was a very similar experience where I was enjoying it a lot at the start, and then by the end I was completely out of it. I barely remember that book. So maybe it was just my fault that I wasn't in the right headspace. And now I finally read the one that I wanted, and I've learned a very important lesson. Read what you know. Like, if you have a feeling that that's the one you're gonna like, just start by that one. It has a very small summary here in the back. It says, Gwangju, South Korea, 1980. In the wake of a viciously suppressed student uprising, a boy searches for his friend's corpse. A consciousness searches for its abandoned body, and a brutalized country searches for a voice. This is a riveting and poetic examination of humanity at its most appalling and its most hopeful. I feel that that's a good summary for the book, so you don't know too much. This is based on real events, heartbreaking, horrible events in South Korea. I wasn't really familiar with this. I feel like here, at least in Portugal, we just don't learn anything about the history of many countries, but especially Asian countries, I think we learn absolutely nothing. So it was good to learn about it, and also the experience of reading it, the way she chose to tell the story, combining different voices, different perspectives, to me was amazing, was brilliant, really. This is a 5-star book for me. And maybe I think I'll try the white book afterwards. If you've read Kang, let me know which one of her books. Someone that liked this one would probably like better as well. And the last chapter is narrated by herself as the writer, and great choice. I was debating if I should show you this or not, but I got this is enormous. This is the Norton Shakespeare. This is an old edition that I found secondhand. It already has tabs on it and everything. This is also for something that I don't want to share yet, but we'll hopefully be able to do so soon. But yeah, I just wanted to have all of Shakespeare's works in a combined edition that I could access, and that hopefully has some paratext to help me understand it better. I really like Shakespeare, and so I think I'll read some of the plays from here and check out what other information it has as well. Next, I got Duzentos Poemas by Emily Dickinson, which translates to 200 poems. I just wanted to have bilingual edition of Emily Dickinson's poems for also a personal project that hopefully I'll be able to share share eventually. But yeah, it has the original version on one side and Portuguese version on the other, and so I think it will be very helpful. I think I've read most of her poems by now. Okay, she has most of the poems that are here in this collection, not most of all the poems that she has written, because she wrote a lot of them. But yeah, I think it will be a useful resource to have them in both of the languages that I speak fluently, let's say it like that. And finally, the last one I got was Outline by Rachel Cusk. I didn't get this like on purpose. I just was selling a book on Trade Stories, which is a platform where you can sell your own books and buy books from other people. And someone asked me if I wanted to trade, and they had this book for sale, and I had heard good things about Rachel Cusk, and so I thought, why not try it out? So that's it. That's the books I've acquired so far. I'm very happy about them, very excited about the ones I haven't read, very happy that I've already read some of them. And so yeah, hope you guys like this video. If you want to, you can always subscribe, leave a comment with any suggestions that you may have for me, and that's it. Bye!